What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN's live stream of Hitman Absolution. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. I'm joined by Tor from IO Interactive, from the developer of Hitman. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
This is Anthony Gallegos.
Hello.
He's a big Hitman fan.
Yeah, I'm a Hitman enthusiast.
Yeah. So we're totally excited about Hitman Absolution. It comes out next week on the 20th. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that yeah. Perfect. So what are you going to be showing us today?
Well, we're going to start with the first level, the tutorial, and kind of the start of the story of the game. So we're skipping through some of the cutscenes because to kind of not spoil it for people playing it later. So, but this is where we kind of teach players the ropes.
So in the continuity of this, like, is this like, I guess, how long after Blood Money is this kind of taking place?
Let's say it might be 4 years later. It's not really defined.
Sure.
So, but it's kind of a continuation.
Time has definitely passed since the events of Blood Money.
Yeah. 1847, he is a little bit older and a little bit more mature, I guess you could say, in looks.
The cover in front of you.
And story-wise, Absolution is not really. I mean, it's kind of. It's taking place later, but it's not directly linked in the story. So you don't need to play the old ones.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I felt that way even about Blood Money. Actually, Blood Money was my first Hitman game, and then even then, I still understood everything that was going on. And you could go back, and you were fine. You know, that didn't matter. Yeah, you've always been able to just jump in. And I feel like Hitman games have, like, I like the story in Hitman games, but even if you don't care about the story, like the sheer act of sneaking around and figuring out how to do things is why it's fun. Yeah, you know, and it's that adventure of doing things, going and talking to your friends afterwards and talking about the way you did it versus the way someone else did it.
Aim for the head.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that's, I mean, we had a big ambition with Absolution that we wanted to make a personal story and a much more, you can say, relevant story for the game. But anytime we had to sacrifice gameplay, we had to say, okay, gameplay has to come first, so then the story will have to come second. So.
Now, viewers, if you have any questions about Hitman that you'd like to ask Tor, like you'd like to ask the developer, just tweet them at IGN, include hashtag Hitman. We will answer them for you, and then that also automatically enters you to win a copy of the game for the platform of your choice. We'll be doing that at the, we'll be giving that away at the end of the hour.
So, I mean, obviously right now, you know, as we go through the tutorial, it's teaching us all the various ways to kill people, but when we play through the normal game, we're not going, you know, it comes down to playstyle, really, right? So it's like, you know, if you want, you can be the run and gun sort of, you know, John Woo assassin if you want, or if you want, you can make sure that the only people you're killing are your targets.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's why the tutorial, you can say, for us, it's difficult to make a tutorial for a Hitman game because usually, like Hitman players, they resent being told what to do. They say, okay, give me the tools and let me figure it out by myself. But in the tutorial, we have to tell them what are your tools, right? And what is the, you can say, which kind of opportunities do you have in the game? Because there's a lot of games now that tells you very clearly what to do, right? And they really, I mean, there's only one way of playing through the game.
Sure.
While in Hitman, actually teaching people that you have the choice has been a big challenge for us. And through the tutorial, we're hoping that everybody at the end of it understands, okay, there is a lot of ways of doing things, and exploring and kind of making up your own plan it's the most fun part of the game, actually.
Yeah, and I'm sure for a lot of people this will be their first Hitman game.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's been
a few years since
almost, has it been 4 years since the last Hitman?
6 years.
6 years since the last Hitman?
Wow.
Wow, okay, yeah.
That's a whole lifetime, right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, this will be the first Hitman for some people.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can see many people actually coming to Hitman now only knowing the movie, actually, not knowing that there was a game.
That's crazy talk. So one of the things that, you know, I think people have always wondered is, like, what design-wise drove you guys to add the his additional vision option there, you know, to kind of get a bead on, you know, enemy movement paths and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's the, what you talk about is instinct, and I think if Sven is using it here, we can see that, enemies will light up, and if they're moving around, their paths, as you can see over here, will kind of light up so you can predict where they're going. And actually, this came about because when we were testing the game, AI, which is, you can say, the most central part of the game, was getting so difficult that we had a hard time figuring out what the hell they were up to. So we added, it was like, okay, we can't figure out the game ourselves even. So what about the poor players? And we thought, okay, we had the map mode in the old games where you can kind of go in and you can see everybody moving around.
Right.
While here, we said, okay, fine, let's try to put that into the world instead. So you can say it's like a a map mode on demand where you can see close to you. You can get an overview over what's happening. And it's not telling you what to do, it's still just telling you these are the things happening in the world, and now you can make a choice based on that.
And where is Agent 47 here, and what is his objective?
Here he's actually tasked to kill his only friend, Diana Burnwood, which is We're sorry about that, but we wanted this to be a personal story for Agent 47, and
so wait, he's killing his handler?
Yes, his ex-handler.
Oh, that is brutal. I mean, in the other games, she's the only person that ever shows like any sort of care for you whatsoever, like that even kind of indicates she thinks about you at all.
Exactly, and that's also why you can say, with storytelling in mind, if we wanted to get close to Agent 47 and make him have any kind of feelings about what was going on, we would have to get close to him, and he would have to do it by himself. Because if you know the Hitman franchise, you also know that Agent 47, he is a very cold and kind of mechanical kind of character that he will not do anything unless it's logical. Yeah. So trying to make this character have any kind of emotions for anyone in the world, it was a big challenge for us, and we went down this road also because Diana, as you kill her, she also gives you can say, the mission that you go through for the rest of the game.
So one thing that I've always really liked about the Hitman games, and obviously you're showing right here, is the ability to like hide in plain sight. Like that's always been one of the coolest parts, is that missions involve one part of this stealth, you know, moving between cover, avoiding enemy sight lines, but then there's always this part about how you can blend in and whether or not you can switch costumes at the right times, or if you kill someone in a costume like below your cover, like there's all those exciting things that come from this sort of the costume mechanic.
Can you use your instincts as much as you want, or is it limited?
It's limited, and also depending on which difficulty level you're on, it will be different. So as you see now, down in the right corner is the instinct, the yellow bar, which will deplete if you use it too much.
And then how do you build it back up?
Well, there is a number of different things you can do. Being, you can say, a professional assassin and doing acts that is professional will kind of bring it up some. Like now, as we saw right here, he was turning on this valve that turned on the sprinkler system, and that will give you some instinct back. So, being clever, you can say.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's example though of the way that things get handled in Hitman, where there's usually a less obvious solution to handling a problem a lot of times that you may not see unless you take the time to look around. That's one of the things that I've always liked about it, you know. Whether it was in Blood Money, there was plenty of guys you could walk up and shoot if you want, or there was like a way that you could cleverly drop something on them if you figured out, you know, some way to sabotage something. So
yeah, and that we've been trying to take that as far as it possibly could with Absolution, adding even more kind of accident kills and more kind of opportunities to interact with the world than before. Because we also got that from our fans, and that was what they really liked about the game. That you can say that feature.
Stuff like this is a little different too than I think what Hitman fans have come to expect, because it's a bit more, like, for lack of a better term, it's a bit more cinematic, I think, than we're used to. You know what I mean? Like the other Hitman games, if they presented any sort of, they want you to see the scene, it was done in a cutscene. It wasn't done like mid-level, sort of like, you know, we're going to frame this way because this is how we want you to see it.
Yeah, we're taking some liberties this time to sometimes show you something if we deem that it's necessary. Because here we're still in a very controlled environment, so also you can say, death by a coffee cup.
There are worse ways to go.
Yeah.
The mansion guard disguise gives you full access to the mansion interior.
But in general, like, making a more cinematic experience was something that we really also aimed for, and we also built up the AI together with the music system, actually, to be able to score whatever you did as a player in the best possible way, so that the playstyle you had would be reflected in the music that you heard, giving a very different mood.
So so you're saying the music reacts to the way that you're playing, like the score will change. That's interesting.
It changed all. It's a really, really huge system And there's a lot of different, you can say, scores you will get if you go through the game in different ways.
So something like, you know, disabling the security system, are there still going to be parts in the game where, like, that'll be an option and you can do it if you want, and if you don't, it might affect your rating because you might get seen by, like, CCTV, you know, that sort of thing, like you might get captured by cameras.
Well, yeah, the cameras, they work a little different here. It's not the same. In Blood Money we had a full kind of security camera system.
Right.
And now that mechanic we actually took and built it more into the, you can say, as a collectible. As you saw, he was picking up some evidence.
Right.
And that ties into your Silent Assassin rating, which is the most kind of coveted one.
Yeah, I'm not very good at getting those. Those are hard.
Yes.
They're very hard.
It's, yeah. It's still hard.
That's important, right?
Yes.
I know that's such a funny thing to say, like, but people want it to be hard to get those Silent Assassins. They really do.
And I think, I mean, it's also, that's something that's been a challenge for us, is that we have a very big, loyal, very, you can say, emotional fan base that are very vocal about their opinions. And every time we say we're doing something to make the game more playable, they will cry out and say, I mean, don't make it easy. I mean, it's supposed to be hard. And yes, we know it's supposed to be hard.
To me, oh, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I was just, to me, I'm really happy that you guys are able to make another Hitman, because after Blood Money, and as the years went on, I was like, I wonder if we're going to see another one, or if that was it. Like, Blood Money is where it all kind of ends. So it makes me really, like, I have not had a chance to play much of this yet, but it will be my birthday treat to myself to play some Hitman. So.
Now go on. Get out of here. All right, relax. Was only asking.
I noticed earlier too that we saw in the tutorial over there is like an example of that if you listen, like some of the clues you'll get about people will be kind of like dynamically presented. Like if you paid attention when he was walking by those guys, they talked about how she's upstairs in the shower.
Yeah.
And it's like that wasn't a detail that you had to pick up. It was there if you were paying attention. If not, it would have just been like wander around until you figure out where she is.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of dialogue in this game. It's like 10 times more than we ever had before in a Hitman game.
You should join me over here.
And there is a lot of it that is just, you can say, bringing color to the world. And there is also a lot that somehow references whatever is going on, so that you get the feeling that if you go around and eavesdrop on people, then you will get more information about the world.
Here we had the choice to either subdue or kill the enemy. Is there any consequence if you choose to kill everybody? Is it?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, as you can see up in the corner, there is a score.
Okay.
And now hiding the body will actually
neutralize it.
Yeah, the subdue actually, it will retract the score. But if you hide the body, it will come back, so that we won't punish you too hard for, like in this case, pacifying people. But if you kill him, the negative impact would be far higher on the rating.
But ideally, you would just kind of sneak past everyone.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. He didn't have to kill this guy, but it depends on how you want to play through it, right? And
I know some people that whenever they screw up, they restart. Personally, the way I've always done it is I try and be as silent as I can, and then if stuff goes wrong, I'm like, I just deal with it. Like I'm like, this is just what happened.
Yeah, and that's, say from our end, that's what we have really tried to embrace with Absolution, to say that usually people have a plan when they start, or they have some kind of idea how they want to play, and usually it won't work out the way that they plan to, because the AI is doing something they didn't expect to, or I mean, there is this kind of butterfly effect in the game, where if you do something in a corner, it will kind of spread out, and we really didn't want people to feel they had to restart every time, that they could improvise and get the upper hand again. So the whole way that the knowledge, for instance, propagates through the world is far more logical now. That it's not something that, in the previous games, it's like somebody saw your disguise and everybody would know that you were the bad guy. They would come running for you. Here is much more. Okay, you have one eyewitness. If you deal with him, no one else would know that you're in disguise. So you can just continue through the game.
Right.
So that also makes it more like forgiving in the way that you might play through the level surviving and think, okay, that wasn't the most professional way of doing it, I want to go back and try again, or you say, okay, I actually don't care, I just want to see the next level.
Stay sharp, man. I have urgent business with gate security.
Yeah, so we've spiked his coffee here.
Yeah, he does not like that.
He has the key card to get in on to the second floor.
So by spiking his coffee, you're going to be able to basically get him alone.
Yeah, and not having to kill him.
Maybe.
Looks like there Looks like there are little challenges built into the game. Like I saw one pop up called Chameleon.
Yeah, Chameleon, for instance,
every
is
time you change your disguise.
Exactly.
Just for a moment.
There is a very large amount of challenges in the game, and it's something. Yeah.
Wow.
Poor guy. It's something that we use also to show how many different ways there is to play through the game. That it's kind of hinting at different play styles and different, you can say, secrets or like areas throughout the levels.
So completing that objective was a pretty massive point increase.
Yeah.
He's doing all right now.
Yeah, the main point increases are kind of fulfilling the objectives.
If your score is high enough, you will unlock an assassin technique.
Ooh.
Open the notebook to see your next unlock.
Yeah, so there's these...
Unlockables.
Yes, there is a lot of unlockables, both for weapons and also like what we call techniques, where you can say 1847 himself gets kind of upgraded the more you play.
Okay.
In different ways, and this is something when you play in the online mode of the game, the contracts mode, that can give you that little upper hand that can make it get your score higher than your friends or other people online. So now we're entering a cutscene here. We'll probably just skip through that, not to spoil anything. And
I need to know what happens though.
Diana.
So yeah, so there's one, you can say, in addition to upgrades that we've done to disguises and instinct, there is one more feature that's added to the game that's kind of a big feature, which is called point shooting.
Okay.
That the tutorial will show off here. Which yeah, there are similar mechanics in other games, but this is something that we added because I mean 1847, he is like a
he's an assassin.
Yeah, he's a professional assassin. Of course, he's been trained with gunplay, and it was something that we didn't really use much in the previous games. I mean, every time you had to shoot your way through an area, you would probably end up dead. But now you have this mechanic where you can slow down time, tag people, and you use your instinct power. So it's not something you can use all the time.
Okay.
And then displaying it in a more cinematic way. Because we know exactly what the player's been doing, and he can kind of control if you want to see it or just kind of execute it as fast as possible.
That's very cool. So you spend instinct to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so now this is the end of the
Now
level.
he's got 4 bodies he has to clean up.
Yeah, exactly. It's a messy mechanic, right?
In this case, he just moves on because who cares? Level.
Yeah, exactly. So we will continue to the next level.
Yeah.
Or actually the third level. We'll skip the second one, which is the King of Chinatown, which has been shown quite a lot, so I think people.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen this level before. While we jump to the next level, we're starting to get questions in. Viewers, if you have any questions about the game, just tweet us at IGN. Jack Stands Up tweeted us. He asks, "Is Absolution a good game to start with the Hitman series, or should I go back to play the other titles first?"
Oh, I would absolutely recommend starting with Absolution.
This is a good entry point.
Yes.
Okay.
But at this point, you can find a lot of the other games in bundles and stuff for so cheap that I say. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't start with Absolution, but I'm saying if you have the chance to go back and play Blood Money and stuff, you totally should, because it's still good.
Yeah.
It is still such a fun game to play.
But the thing is, if you haven't played a Hitman
You'll be
game
fine.
before, it's quite challenging with some of the old games. So
Okay, that's true. That's true.
So this one at least will teach you how to play a Hitman game. Then you can go back and then you know what you're going to be dealing with.
Yes, I can see that.
But of course, we're very proud of our old games, and we love people to play them also, of course. So we're loading up a level called Terminus here, which is the third level of the game, and it was actually the level that we started building at the beginning of the project as the kind of the benchmark for the style of the game.
Okay, so was this kind of the one that you guys were showing earlier on? Is that what it was?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
I don't think we've shown this before.
Okay, no, I think I'm mistaking this more with the one that was like the first showing of the game. There was like a chase scene.
Yeah, that comes after this one. That's,
okay.
That comes. So there is this kind of first chapter of the game, which is this kind of noir, Chicago kind of style.
Did he cut off his barcode?
He did.
It's hardcore, man. Scalping himself.
Wow.
So he kind of broke up with the
agency.
And he's now So and you can say, for a character like 1847, we were trying to find out how can we show change.
Yeah.
So and since he's so unemotional, we can't really use his character to do that. So we said, okay, we have to use the physical appearance. So you will see, like now, he's got the barcode, like
with the bandage,
severed, with the band-aid, and his suit. If we turn around to see that it's actually kind of pretty worn down.
Yeah, so right, and he's always been extremely well dressed all the time.
Yeah, like you saw in the first level when we started up, it's like in the tailor-made suit and everything. So
he's
now
also not wearing gloves. This whole thing's throwing me off.
Dead homeless guy? Hey, how's the repair coming along?
Yeah, so this is actually you can say, there's not a classical hit in this level. It's about finding this guy called Blake Dexter. And he is the owner of the car that is standing here to our back. He's a pretty colorful character.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have to find him in this big hotel. There's all these different kind of ways.
Obviously, you can go right in the front door if you want.
Yeah, just like you saw. But you have to get up with the elevator, and that was guarded by a lot of guards in there. You can, of course, start a fight if you want to do that.
Sure.
And if you can survive, then you'll be able to proceed. But now we'll sneak in through the basement here.
Now, on your little mini-map in the bottom left corner, are all the white dots enemies?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, well, they're NPCs.
Okay.
People that could see you.
You can say now we're inside. There's this little yellow triangle in the corner that implies that we're now trespassing.
Okay.
So if we're found out here, depending on how bad we've been or which kind of area, you'll be kind of escorted out of the premises, or you will be like apprehended if they can get to you.
And then in the bottom right corner, that's what weapon you have equipped?
Well, yeah, it's unequipped at the moment, but it's the one we have, like a fast equip, because you have an inventory, but you can kind of equip it and then kind of just like pull it in your pocket, so you can quickly take it out if you need it.
I noticed that when we first started this whole sort of infiltration, you know, the music took on like the sort of high string notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an example of how the score is changing to the fact that we're in like this very tense sort of stealth situation.
Yeah, and now we'll see actually being caught trespassing here. You can see on the minimap there's yellow turning to orange now. This is going pretty bad.
It's getting a little hairy, but he did pull the power, so.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens. Then this is where we can make a playthrough, and we can try to plan everything, but because the AI is working kind of on its own most of the time, we cannot really predict, especially in such a chaotic environment as this, what will be happening. So I think now we're being. There are a lot of these goons here. They've made kind of a lockdown of the hotel, and let's see if we can actually pull that off. He's taking an awful lot of chances here, I think. Look, sometimes the best way to handle being somewhere you're not supposed to be is just acting like you belong. Exactly.
Just walked up, called the elevator.
Yeah. Whatever. So now so the elevators, you can either call it up or down. So now it's standing here. So we just see if we can actually pull off getting into it without. Maybe we should make a diversion or something like that. So.
This is tough. This is one of those moments where you have to sit here and think about what you want to do.
Yeah. Do you want to take a chance?
Turn around.
This is pretty.
Oh my gosh!
Well played. Yeah.
All right. Well, not the way that was planned, but it worked. Sometimes that's all that matters.
Yeah. You know, usually like in the past year when we're going around on press tours, we usually have a pretty small segment we're showing off. We're kind of planning it really carefully how to show it.
Yeah.
But now the game is done, right? We're showing off the game as it is, so it's there's a lot of things that will happen that we didn't really plan for, that just kind of came as part of the.
Sure, I imagine that's got to be something challenging when designing a game like this too, right? Is trying to figure out all the things that someone like me who's at home might try and do once they have it, you know, like that you didn't necessarily anticipate.
Yeah, and you can say the worst part of that is that when you build a game that you want it to be a cinematic experience and a dramatic experience, right? So you want to kind of build the attention curve through a level to make it interesting to play through. But since there's so many things happening that you can't really predict, sometimes if you come into the game in a really kind of from a bad angle, you could say, or the course of events, suddenly, maybe there's an area of the game where there's no one left because they went to other places of the game. Other times it can just kind of converge and be kind of the best experience that seems like super scripted. And we had players coming up to us saying that, this is not a Hitman game. You scripted all this stuff. And no, it didn't. It happens by itself.
Hey,
you used to date my sister?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
She was hot.
It's all there.
Yeah, so now we're at the 7th floor of the hotel and we have to get up to the 8th, and you can see there's these goons everywhere, but we're allowed to be here on the 7th floor, and then there's a lot of different alternative routes to get up to the 8th.
Boy, come here. Come here. Yeah, you pretty.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's also a way that we use the AI, is to try to see if we can provoke the player into doing something that he didn't really want to do. But it's like, oh, come on. You just have to punch him, right? Just like in real life. Oh, did I say that?
Christ.
Oh, man.
Oh, no, this
There we
is-
go. All right.
So, okay, now there's, there's...
I don't know about her.
She might have to.
Yeah.
have to go.
She might need a bottle to her grill.
Uh-oh. Is that a shotgun there?
Yeah. Nice. That's cool. So
They didn't surprise
that's
people.
yeah, that's interesting to be able to do like a surprise subdue like that.
Yeah. And especially when it comes to a scenario that can turn really bad, like it
Yeah,
might
no,
do very
that's
soon
that's
here.
a really that's a nice addition, because I remember there were times that I would try and do something similar in Blood Money, and that'd be really hard to pull off.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, one thing that we really tried to do with Absolution was to like focusing on gunplay and making it you're
Viable.
kind of, yes. It's not the best way of playing through the game, but it is a viable solution. And let's see if it's possible to survive here.
Oh no.
It is a pretty bad spot to start a fight.
Yeah,
and
it
there's
is.
quite a lot of enemies,
Yeah.
but yeah, using
all right.
point shooting here. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You're gonna shoot the plant?
How's it coming?
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
well, your
Oh,
face.
sort of, yeah, it took his face off.
And that plant totally died.
I like this. We came up here with the best intentions, and then that one guy decided to provoke us, and now everyone has to die. I can see what you're talking to with a little bit of the visual design with Agent 47, as far as like
He looks like a mess.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, right? His tie is half untied.
Yes.
You know, he looks like a guy getting off of a long day rather than
But
super clean.
But this is also a part of where we, like, you can say, using it as a storytelling device in the way that we're expecting that players will want to get him back in the nice suit again and make him look, decent. Mm-hmm. And that's like, through the course of the game, that's what will actually happen. Like, coming back to the last level of game, you will be beyond, you can say, the prime you're in when you started the game.
Right. Oh, well, here was an alternate way we could have done some hiding, I guess, and getting
Yeah.
around.
Without having to punch people.
We're still trying to get up another floor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go down to go up.
Yeah. And also make a body count of like 15
Yeah.
people.
And you see on the minimap, there's all these orange dots here. They're pretty
Those are the
upset.
people that are hunting for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if they turn red, that's bad. That means they're really onto you. They know where you are. And if you wait around, unless you were really bad, I think we're. Oh.
Whoa! Kill the bear.
Yeah, spontaneously just like pumping it full of lead.
Oh, well, it's clear that this guy needs to go out the window.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna give him a shield.
No.
Well, we could leave
He
him alone, too.
resisted.
Yeah, well, yeah, he did. I mean, I guess he's not harming anything.
Yeah, yet. But it can be nice to kind of lower the numbers of
Sure, in
resistance.
case something does go wrong.
Yeah, there's a lot of enemies around.
Yeah, this is also, you can say, in the game, this is the first place where it kind of gets a little challenging. And there is, of course, you can kind of gun your way through it, but there's also a lot of opportunities in the environment to distract them, for instance. There's
Or pull one away from the group, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and also there's actually a movie projector in here. I don't know if it's possible to pull that off. If you can find a movie reel and start this projector, you'll kind of pull them in because they're interested in seeing the movie. Of course, it's something kind of seedy. Like
Movie comes on like, I love this movie.
Hey, what's up?
Oh. All right.
What does the near body message mean? Does that just mean you're near a body, or?
Yeah, we've really been trying to see which are the things, like you can say real life things that you can be doing that is kind of weird. So standing next to a dead guy, it's
Bad
a
idea.
little bit suspicious.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why we have to give you this prompt, and it might be a little bit obscure sometimes, but it's we're trying to see which are the things you can kind of deduct from real life kind of logics and say.
So, I mean, if people are watching, they can tell too. It's not like having this cowboy outfit makes you immune to people that see you. It just means that they don't catch on as fast.
Yeah, exactly. You can get closer to them, but you still have to watch out. But we also have what we call hiding in plain sight, which is here this rack of little pamphlets, which is like an object you when you're dressed as a goon, you can go up and kind of pretend to be leafing through them, and then everybody else in that costume, they will just immediately assume that you're one of them and kind of be talking to you as if you're one of them. Yeah, so here we have the movie reel, actually.
Yeah, I like that we came all the way in here just to kill this guy because we wanted this movie reel. We're going to make this happen.
Anthony, if I was the hitman and you're the goon, I would just subdue you.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. I would appreciate not having my neck broken. Though waking up without my clothes would be pretty miserable too, because there's no really good way to explain that.
I would look kind of funny in your clothes.
That's true.
Yeah, we had to make this rule that if you're a very different body shape, then you can't use the clothes, because then we can also use those characters to, into an area that we don't want you to be able to take clothes from.
Oh, so it's a very interesting movie.
Yeah, a little snuff movie.
Okay.
So now you can see they're all...
I see, so now we can gather them up, and then obviously we can either let them be gathered or use it for, or use it for point shooting, I could tell you wanted to for a second.
So now this is the door we're looking for, the presidential suite.
Of course.
Yes.
Where else would an eccentric person stay?
Oh, we got a lot of points for that.
Uh-oh. Yeah. So we won't spoil what happens behind this door.
I understand.
But we will take you to the next area, which is that the train station? Or is it more of Run for Your Life? Or what is the time? Okay.
Yeah, Chinese New Year. So Chinese New Year, that's the one I'm excited to see. As a person who played Blood Money and really loved the Mardi Gras stage, like the crowd thing, I think was that even back then the crowd mechanic in that was really impressive. It actually got across the feeling when you were pushing your way through people,
Yeah, Blood Money. I mean, I was working on that level, so and it was the crowd tech in Blood Money actually didn't come until the last couple of months in production. Because no one could do it. The coders, they were at loss. They didn't know how to proceed. And then again, one guy was like, "Let me try it." And then after 1 week, he just made it work. And I was like, we were that close from cutting the whole level.
Oh my gosh!
And it turned out to be one of the most memorable levels of the whole game.
It is.
The whole
it really is.
actually.
Yeah.
So with Chinese New Year here, actually, we tried to make that be like the spiritual successor of the Mardi Gras level. This kind of festive crowd in a very large environment, where in this case there's 3 targets you have to deal with. And
yeah, that was one of the things I also liked about the Mardi Gras level, was that there was so many targets you had to deal with, and you could do it in a crazy order if you wanted. It didn't really matter.
Now, viewers, if you have any questions about Hitman Absolution, just tweet us at IGN. We'll answer them. That also automatically enters you to win a copy of the game.
Oh my gosh.
And this is the Chinese New Year level.
Yeah. And as you see, there's 2 targets right in front of us here, and there's 1 target in the far end. And of course, you can try to kill them here in the crowd. At this point of the game, you're still on the run from the police, so we still have to kind of watch out being in the crowd. But as you can see, using instinct here, the crowd is actually concealing you. When they turn kind of white around you, it means that they're hiding you from you can say NPCs looking for you.
And one of our viewers, MX Chick Magnet 86, writes in asking, do you design levels with a certain number of ways to play through in mind, or are the levels so complex you don't know every way?
Well, we usually start out with a certain design or certain things that we really want, and then we'll keep adding to them until we kind of get cut off by the producers.
Okay, you're like, that's enough.
But there is also a number of kind of permutations in the world that we have no control over because of the AI, how it works. So usually what happens is that when players get their hands on the game, they will find a number of alternative ways that we didn't really know was even possible. Yeah, so here one of the targets are actually, they're assassins looking for Agent 47, and they're looking for another guy called Birdie, and they're trying to find information about him walking around here. So this guy is kind of questioning people, and he's going to take them out to this kind of secluded area and try to find some information. So we'll use that opportunity to deal with this guy, this target.
I like that we also stole this knife.
Yeah, from the poor victim here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, there is a number of improvised weapons around the world that you can pick up and use.
Now, if I was to say Birdie, then you would respond, what? You want roast duck? Wrong answer. Okay, asshole. Here we go. Once more for the hearing impaired. Where's the guy?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Nice.
So we actually got his body concealed and killed him in the same time. That's pretty good.
That's pretty much ideal right there.
Yeah.
Are your points collective from level to level, or is that just our points from this level?
It's only from level by level, because we wanted people to be able to kind of rate each other from only one section. And if you go into the pause menu, you will see that everything is online, so you can see against your friends.
That's very cool.
How other people are doing on this particular part of the game.
So they won't even just find the bodies; they'll also find the blood pools. That's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that's a better reason not to use lethal force.
Yeah, exactly. So using, choking out like you saw before, or using the fiber wire are ways you can get through it without shedding blood. While the katana he picked up now, that might be a little bit different.
Nah, it's clean.
Yeah, it's making it cut so clean that no blood would come out.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's very Die Hard right here.
There's a ghost.
Oh yeah, actually we used that as a reference.
Yeah?
When he climbed in the first Die Hard?
And he's like,
and he used the lighter,
Yes.
Have a good time.
And that's actually with the lighter, it's part of, we wanted this kind of a little bit more kind of old school feeling to the game, a little bit more like, like the movie Leon, the Professional.
Yeah.
Where everything it's down to, your knowledge about killing people, not necessarily using all these gadgets. So having a lighter instead of having some kind of a digital device.
Yeah, I mean, Agent 47 is not like Splinter Cell Sam Fisher. He's not.
Yeah.
He's very much like stuck with what he finds in the world.
Yeah, so here's second target. He actually...
All right.
Yeah. Oh.
Whoa. Okay. That's one way to handle it.
That was slightly less professional, I guess you can say.
That felt good, though.
I had to take down a crooked cop here that was trying to sell information
and the target. So we took out a crooked cop and a target. So sounds good.
And now, you see when we go into Instinct, there's these kind of blinks, which are like points of interest. And this is only showing up if you're playing on normal or easy.
Okay, otherwise you just kind of got to find those.
Yes, exactly, because those are the things that you have to discover for yourself. So going around the level and actually finding all these things is part of the, you can say, gameplay and the fun part for hardcore players.
Right, and so for them, you've offered the option to turn off all of like the little assists and stuff if they want.
Yes, and the harder you bump the difficulty level up, the less assistance you will get, to the point where on the purist mode, which we added, which is for the people who only like Hitman 1, which was notoriously difficult.
Yeah.
Then the purist mode, our goal is that it's actually even harder than Hitman 1.
Wow.
So we remove all the heads-up display. The only thing you have is your reticule, and even with the bullets in your gun, you have to count them for yourself, knowing how many is in whatever is.
Okay. So was that an example of him using the instinct there to slow down time just so he could wander past a guard without him getting suspicious too fast?
Yes, exactly.
Like basically he was hiding his face?
Yeah, so he's like, you have a limited amount of seconds. Yeah, so this is an accident kill here. Turning on the... Uh-oh, I'm gonna hide here.
Nice. Oh, we gotta watch him die.
He's like standing next to fireworks.
Yes.
And a bottle of gasoline.
With a cigarette.
Champagne rum? Wow, it's a lot of ass.
I don't like this guy. So he's gonna get what's coming to him.
Yeah.
You got yourself a deal. Crack a bottle and get ready to light my fire.
Throw that cigarette on the ground. There we go.
Go out.
Pretty good. We've got all the targets for
Yeah, and I mean it's no one even know we're here. It seems.
I was gonna say that was handled pretty well, although it wouldn't get a silent assassin rating because we killed the cop, right?
Yeah.
Like I imagine that would be a problem.
So now
and one blood pool.
Yeah. So we have a new feature that is called contracts.
Right.
That we want to show you, and I think we want to create a contract, which is what you can do with contracts. Actually, you can create your own hit within the game on any level of the game on any character of your choosing, and depending on how you dispose of your victim, even the clothes you're wearing and everything you do in the level is something you can log and use within your contract. So if you want to make something really challenging for your friend, you can do that, or if you just want to make something funny or like do it in a funny way, you can do that as well. It's completely up to you as a player.
And you're going to show us an example of that right now.
Yeah, we'll make a contract in, I think, King of Chinatown, no, in the Chinese New Year, or?
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah, we just need to...
So showing off that in any part of the game, you can completely change the gameplay.
So contracts is something that, you know, it's like a... Is it that when you buy the game, you enter in a code and then you unlock contracts? Is that the way it works in it? Or
yeah, it's there for everybody.
Okay, cool.
You just, it's... In the main menu, you'll see it's like you either play like story mode or Absolution, or you play contract. It's you can say it's that important for the game.
Cool.
So while we get this loaded up, we have a couple other questions here. This is from Kevman80. How long will it take the average gamer to finish a playthrough, and is there a reason for multiple playthroughs?
What's the average gamer is always the question, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really difficult to answer because of all the different ways of playing through the game. It's a large game. And what we see is that usually when players have finished it, they are usually, if they make one straight playthrough, they will have unlocked about 20% of the game. So, and going back, I mean, basically going back to a level can completely change how you play through it.
There's so many variables.
Yes, so of course, I mean, if you like the way of playing a Hitman, then there is lots more content in the game. While just playing through it once, and the game is, I mean, from the level designers, it's designed to be as deep an experience, you can say, in each level that you want it to be, and we can see people going back playing up to like 20 hours even on one single level.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, when I played through Blood Money, I played through it multiple times just to try and kill people in the different ways that I thought I saw, but I wasn't sure, so I would go back and try and experiment.
Yeah, so, and that was a problem we had with for instance, Blood Money. We had no way of telling you all the different ways, while in Absolution we have the challenge system, which is tying into usually how you can dispose of these characters and all the different sections of a level.
So we're creating a contract right now.
Yeah.
So we're choosing Agent 47's starting equipment here.
Yeah.
Of course he's gotta have his silver ballers.
So you can see you can select a number of weapons if you unlock them through playing it in story mode, or if you kind of play contracts and earn money, you can then also buy these weapons. And the same with disguises. There is a number of different disguises, more than any other Hitman game that you have to your disposal here.
So you unlock these items by playing through the regular game?
Yeah, or if you play contracts, then you can say money that you can also use to buy things.
Very cool.
So it's kind of up to you. I mean, we wanted it to be a tie between the two modes, but not too, you can say, too intertwined. So we don't want to force people to play one or the other. It's kind of up to them how they want to go about the game. So now we're loading up the section. And this is also one thing that we decided, that you don't have to unlock contracts areas through story mode. It's all available from the start. You'll get a spoiler warning if you haven't played through it in the story.
I guess the only difference then is that if you do play through the story, there'll be certain parts of contracts that you won't necessarily have access to until you get them, like additional weapons and that sort of thing. Like that's the benefit of playing playing through story player component will give you a better contracts experience.
Yeah,
simply by giving you more unlockables.
Yeah, but it's not something you need to have.
Sure.
So yeah, so now you can see that it looks very similar to story mode, with the slight difference that up in the right corner there is this, what we call the target tracker, and within the game world you see there is this mark, this Y button, which means you can mark that character for being a target in your contract.
So you're creating a challenge to share with your friends, but creating it as interactive. Like you sort of play through creating this challenge.
Yeah, and this was something that we were kind of wondering. We wanted to make this mode where you could create your own content, and we're thinking about building an editor for it. But that becomes very, you can say, it really takes you out of the experience, and it is usually for the few of your
whoever actually going to use those tools.
Yes,
yeah, it's
exactly. So we wanted to make something that was actually fun to create within. So this is like what we call like play to create. So you go in, and what you do, everything you do is being logged, right? So the time you take, the actions that you do, everything is being done. So the better you are at the game, the more you can say complicated contract you can give to your friends. And that's usually what we see, is that when people go in making a contract, they usually say, okay, I'm going to make the hardest, most obscure contract ever. And then they completely fail in doing so, and then they will spend maybe hours going back trying to find out how can I do this in a way where no one understands what I did. And then maybe their friends come in, and in 5 minutes they found out and they kind of did it. So it's because everything is kind of organic, it's a little bit unpredictable, and also you can say if other people playing your contract are really, how to say, good within the game, then they might be able to figure out an even better way of disposing of the target than you could. So here we have the same.
And can we do the same?
Once more for the hearing impaired. Where's the guy they call Birdie? And what about that bald son
I like where this is going.
Huh? Start talking. I don't know about any Birdie. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna count down from 10. 10, 9, 8.
We didn't get to see this far in the conversation
7.
last time.
Shit, the hell with this. I got a table at the Vixen.
Okay.
Okay, we'll just let that happen.
Well, this way, the benefit of us letting that happen first is that the other guy wasn't alive to see the blood spot.
Yeah. But he was actually not a target. These were just collateral. You see, this guy up here is actually the target.
Right, so we shot them, which brings this guy down.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a diversion.
That sounds very Agent 47. Kill 2 people. Well, why'd you kill 2 people? Well, I needed a diversion. There we go. What I like to see. Shove him down in the sewer hole.
Yeah, the toxic sewer hole.
So we've created a contract now where that.
Yeah, we have to escape alive. That's the
Okay.
last criteria you can
Okay,
say.
got it.
And it's interesting that you could do it with all these different starting weapons. Like you could just be like, well, you don't have a pistol, you have an assault rifle only, and it's like figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, you'd be like an assault rifle.
And that is actually, that's a very interesting point because, for instance, if you take, there are certain weapons in the game you can upgrade. So like you can have an assault rifle with a silencer, but only if you did that yourself. So if you made a contract with your super upgraded assault rifle with a silencer, you could make a hit like this work easily, and you give that to someone else. They will have to figure out for themselves how did you make that happen? How could you ever shoot that gun without anyone hearing it?
Okay.
So it becomes a part of the challenge. Okay, now making things slightly more.
Okay.
Like upping the
Well, this might draw some attention.
Yeah. Just standing in front of 50 people here.
They don't seem too concerned.
No. I think within seconds it's gonna go haywire.
They might have died inside the door enough, though, that we're fine. I think that went pretty much as good as it possibly could.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a disguise here. So
Nice.
there's a few, you could say, like Easter egg disguises for the game.
Yeah. So one
This is one of them.
We actually have a question about the disguises. SHP for you asks, how'd you guys come up with the idea of the chicken suit? That was hilarious. And are there any other funny costumes to look forward to? We see one here, of course.
Yeah, Charlie the Chipmunk, he is like the next chicken, so to speak. I mean,
Nice.
because we knew the chicken from Blood Money, that was the most kind of ridiculous costume we ever made. And he was very kind of beloved character. But now Sven, he's really pushing his luck here. I think there's in contracts there's a number of different exits from any given area that will also add to, you can say, the complexity of the contract. If you choose an exit
really
that's
hard
very
exit.
Yeah, exactly, that's very far away from your target. Like here, for instance, he is trying, or it looks like the worst exit of all, and he's making me very nervous.
I think he's got it.
Yes.
Nice.
Whew.
Nicely done.
So here we see our targets, and as you can see, it says which weapon has been used. Like
Oh,
pistol.
so you've even set the conditions that they should be killed with this weapon.
Yes.
Okay.
And yeah, everything that we do within the contract, you can make that a condition. You can turn this off, which sometimes can actually make it more difficult, because if you kill someone in a very obscure place, and you didn't tell how you did it, like which outfit, it can actually be part of the puzzle, finding out how can you get close to this guy at all. So
we have about 10 minutes left in the live stream here. If you have any last minute questions, tweet them at IGN. I'll be picking the best question as the winner of a copy of the game for the platform of your choice. So just send those in to us. We have a few questions here. Ben Danzy says, in the past it was possible to go through the game without killing anyone except the target. Is that still the case in Absolution?
very much so. Yeah. And that's tying into being a silent assassin, which is the best rating you can get in the game. Mm-hmm. That is about going in, suit only, not using disguises at all, and being unseen, even making your kill look like an accident. And that is...
So I guess for you, when you guys were coming to Absolution, what were the things that you really wanted to bring to it that maybe you didn't do with Blood Money? Like, what was that you really wanted to change for Absolution?
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about before, we wanted to make a far more cinematic experience, but not on the behalf of you can say gameplay. So trying to make cinematic gameplay work while still having the power of choice for the player. And I think the challenge of that has been probably the most time we've really been spending a lot of time on that.
Do you feel like you've as far as the cinematics or stuff? Do you feel like the work that IO's done with something like Kane and Lynch has kind of helped with that? Because I know that those games were very much about telling this story, a very specific story.
Very much so. I mean, Kane and Lynch, the first Kane and Lynch was that was really changing how we did, you can say, cinematic experiences at IO. And I think, we definitely learned a lot from them, both in how they presented their characters. And we were always been so jealous at Kane and Lynch, because you have these two characters that is talking all the time, adding a lot of, kind of character to the scene, while we have 1847.
Who never speaks.
Who never speaks. He's very, very difficult to, to make him emotional in any kind of way. Mm. But on the other hand, that also means that you, as a player going to it, you can invest yourself a lot in the character, and together with the very open gameplay, we actually believe that is adding to the immersion of the game and making it your experience. Like, you're going out telling your friends, I did it like this, and you actually feel much more like you did it because he's not talking all the time or being very, kind of characterized.
Now, before we jumped into this level of contracts, there was a little warning that you're accessing a new level. There may be some spoiler content. Yeah. So you're able to create contracts and levels that you haven't completed yet?
Yes, we decided that because we didn't want to force people through story mode if they really didn't want it.
I see.
We will, of course, prefer that they do it because we spend a lot of time on it.
Sure.
But
sure.
If they just want to play contracts, that's also completely fine. So you'll get a spoiler warning, and then you can go into any area of the game.
I see.
And this is the level that was kind of shown very first when Hitman was revealed.
Yeah. And this is kind of a classic. You can say it's an A to B level that we showed off at E3 last year.
I know a lot of fans when they first saw it were like, "What, is the whole game linear now?"
Yeah.
They got scared, right? Because we're all irrational and crazy. But it's really good as a Hitman fan to see the way that we've already seen that you can approach it this way, you can grab this weapon, you can poison this, you can not poison that. Those are the things that for me I was warms my heart.
Yeah, and now you can see even in this area, it's been turned into a completely classic kind of Hitman hit now.
Right.
And it's a pretty challenging one where you see there's this asshole Sergeant Meyer, which is standing in the middle of the library here with the cops all around him, and there's a hit on him, and this one we made ourselves at I/O, but it's something, of course, as the game goes live, we'll be picking any contracts from the community that we think are interesting and it's worth kind of promoting.
That's cool.
We'll promote them from inside the game. So actually, when you play through it in story mode and you pause the game, what we call a featured contract from that area will pop up on the screen, and you say, okay, if you want to leave story mode and make a contract hit, you can do that instead here.
That's very cool.
Look at this.
Oh.
Yeah, it's trying to make a silent assassin.
I know, it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna make it.
Oh my god.
That snap.
They haven't seen that it's him yet. They're kind of
No.
They
said suspicious, but no one's.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is kind of stressful.
What?
That one guy knows, man.
Yeah. Yeah, now you can see now they're kind of angry. Fake surrender.
That's blown.
I wouldn't want to surrender in that crowd.
We're good.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't the best ending, but up until then it was very impressive.
So we're going to give away a copy of the game to Nate Paolasso, who writes in asking, will I/O be making or releasing their own contracts, or is it just going to be entirely user-made, user-generated content?
Well, we will be making some from the team, and I'm sure that team members actually will be submitting under false names.
Really?
And then they'll come into the office and be like, guys, I found this really cool contract.
We need to feature this one. I guess I/O made the contracts, they just made the story, like the regular story levels.
Yeah, I think within days, players are going to make far better contracts than we could ever have imagined. So I'm hoping that we will not have any contracts of our own in the game. That is all going to be user-made. And also, like, I don't know if you saw that in the kind of end screen, you can actually make your own story also. Like, you can make your own mission description and title of the contract. So if you want to kind of build in a backstory for a character within your contract, you can do that as well if you want to take the time to write down, to kind of personalize it.
Yeah. That about wraps up our live stream today. Thank you so much for bringing the game by today, Tor.
Well, thank you for having me.
Anthony, you excited?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd seen, like I said, I've seen a couple of levels that were you guys very clearly demonstrating a very specific thing. So for me, seeing it where it's like, you know, very much the open game that I wanted, it makes me happy. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. So Hitman Absolution is out Tuesday, November 20th, for the review, for the walkthrough, for all of your Hitman needs. You'll find everything you need on IGN. Everybody have a good rest of the day.